So it's the 9th of June and we've finally left Georgetown, Ascension Island. Gonna miss it. The people here were absolutely lovely, no more so than Donovan Whittle, who deserves a special mention because he gave us a battery to start the port engine. The port engine battery was dead and we didn't have a spare. So there we go. Good morning guys, it's Friday the 10th of June and this is our first morning at sea. We had a very pleasant night last night really. The wind was really good yesterday when we set off, good 15 knots, 15 to 20, which is just about perfect for us. Unfortunately it died down in the night and it's now just about 10 to 15. 10 to 15, as you see down here. It's also veered quite a bit. It's 157 there it says now. It was about 110, 120 yesterday. The result of it all is that we're not really making our waypoint, as you can see. It's kind of marginal, which is why I'm not doing anything much about it just yet. But I think we're going to have to try to make that waypoint. It is just a weather waypoint, there's nothing significant in it other than that it seems to be a place to cross the Dolphins with a minimum of little or no wind. Good afternoon guys, it's Tuesday afternoon, around about 20 to 5 and to be honest the weather hasn't changed all day. We've got just about 10 knots, a little bit under, occasionally a little bit more. The seas have settled down. There's few white horses now, but of course it does make sailing awkward for us, particularly because to make this waypoint, this weather waypoint that we're trying to get to, we're having to sail pretty much straight downwind. At 8 o'clock this morning I decided that we ought to goosewing the Genoa. Good morning guys. It is Saturday the 11th of June. We had a bit of excitement around the yacht last night, didn't we, Commodore?
Yes, very surprising. Quite a bit of interesting happening.
Yeah, we had just around dusk we started to get a number of seabirds circling around the yacht looking like they wanted to land. And we thought, oh that's nice, that's nice. And several of them did, although most of them flew away quite quickly. But two settled, one right above me here on the corner of the combing or the deck up here, and the other one up on top of the helm house up here, up there. This one here stayed quite a long time. I don't know how long, I didn't know when he went. But anyway, I came out in the morning to check on him, and so sadly he'd gone. But then when I looked around and I saw he's left his calling card. I thought, well that's nice. That's very nice.
It's so tummy and all.
He's obviously eating far too much fish. The other one who didn't stay so long still left his mark as well. So we've got a bit of cleaning up to do this morning.
Good morning, what's up, Captain?
I'm cleaning up bird shit.
He's cleaning up our visitors' calling card left behind. So yeah, we had a little visitor and now the whole solar panel is messed. So the captain is cleaning up and be careful because it's a bit rocky at the moment. Okay?
Good morning, guys. It's Sunday the 12th, another nice sailing day. It's a bit cloudier than it's been, but it seems to be brightening up now. Got a fair bit of roadkill today. I've already thrown one off the back step here, just a smallish one, but there's a bit more up here. Almost worth keeping. Can't make up my mind about him. It's a bit too small to be worth the effort. That was certainly too small to be worth the effort. So sadly, I think we'll put these ones back in the water. Too late for them though. Everything else looks pretty good. A little thing. And there's another one on the front deck here, another one there. Oh dear. We don't seem to get the really big ones we got south of St. Helena. They seem to be about as big as they get. It's just about worth keeping, but too much hard work. This one certainly is. Oh, there's another one down there. A lot of roadkill last night. Commodore, what's occurring?
Hey, good afternoon everybody. Today is Sunday, the 12th of June, and we decided to have a special lunch today celebrating Monty's 1 month today.
Yes, 1 month
Right,
today.
1 month.
So,
we drink to
happy
Monty.
birthday,
Happy
Monty.
birthday,
Monty.
Happy
1
1 month to
birthday.
Monty Warnock.
Yes. And we're drinking Diodona Rosé from our visit to Diodona Franchuk.
Okay, our meal, just very quickly, we've got some lovely boerewors, courtesy of our friend we met in Ascension. That is fabulous
And generous
Donovan and Sven, South African couple living in Ascension. And this is the real boerewors.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donovan. We're thinking of you today. And we've got some fresh salad, carrots still from South Africa, lettuce and tomatoes come from Ascension. And then we've got some interesting vegetables. We've got some chow chow bought in St. Helena, butternuts, and sweet potato bought in St. Helena. So quite an international dish today. So special Sunday, and don't forget we've got also the very special onions and garlic pearls, which goes with the boerewors and our piece of ribeye steak from South Africa. And the sausage, Donovan gets directly from South Africa. Again, thanks Donovan for bringing the barbecue onto. Not so bad.
Thanks for your generosity.
Thank you, Donovan.
Drinking to you.
Everybody, this is just a little bit of factual information that we're busy crossing the equator right now from south to north.
We are north of the equator, which we crossed last night at about 1:30. Hold on, let's see if I can get this to show you what we're doing. Here's Africa up here, and you can see this is not working out very well. This is Africa up here, the Gambia is up here, where I've spent many a week in my days with Monarch, and the Cape Verde Islands just coming in on the corner, if I can get them to get rid of that black bit. I've got a waypoint there which is a weather waypoint. We've still got 250 miles to go to it. I've left the waypoint as it is. Every time I download the weather, it suggests crossing into the doldrums at a different place. This morning's weather, there was very little consensus. All 6 models were spread out over about 3 degrees east and west sort of thing. So I'm sort of thinking we'll just leave it just now and see how it goes, and just try and make reasonable progress. We're making about 6 knots, and we're past the 800 mile for the month. In other words, we're just coming up to the 600 miles sailed since we left Ascension. And as I say, we've got 250 miles to go to this waypoint, which is, as I say, just a weather waypoint. All in all, a nice day in the North Atlantic. Good afternoon, guys. It's Tuesday afternoon, around about 20 to 5. And to be honest, the weather hasn't changed all day. We've got just about 10 knots, a little bit under, occasionally a little bit more. The seas have settled down. There's few white horses now, but of course it does make sailing awkward for us, particularly because to make this waypoint, this weather waypoint that we're trying to get to, we're having to sail pretty much straight downwind. At 8 o'clock this morning I decided that we ought to goose wing the Genoa, and that's what we did. The Genoa's out on one side, the mainsail's out on the other side, and for the most part it's working reasonably well, but every now and again there's a lot of banging and thumping. This is a little bit disconcerting because I don't have a great deal of faith in this Genoa lasting us through the thick of it. But anyway, we have to do something. Oh, look at it. Anyway, it's a lovely day here on the North Atlantic as we are now, and we're hoping to keep going like this as long as we possibly can. All the models are different, so it's really tricky to decide where to go and how to route, or which way to route. We're still going to this, heading towards the same waypoint that we've been heading. It was over 800 miles when we started heading towards it. We're just coming down to about 100 miles now, and that seems about as good a place as any. I'm not saying it's great, but it's as good a place as any, and we'll just have to make it up as we go along, I think. The downside of the sort of lower wind speeds is that we're very much going slower. If we go and look at the instruments, you'll see that we're doing about 4 knots. There we go, just about 4 knots. It goes up above 4 knots, but it goes down to 3 knots as well at times. The wind is right behind us, right up the old Jacksie, right behind us. Here's the waypoint here, and the way the wind's coming around is right on 180 now. We're not quite making it, so in a while we might jibe the yacht and head a little bit more westerly, but for the meantime we'll just let it go as it is. We're still having problems with the generator. I did manage to get it going this morning, that was fine, but as soon as I put power on it, put load on it, it got up to about 1500 watts producing power, and then stalled and stopped. So it doesn't like taking the load. We had this when we were in Phuket before we left, and it was fixed, but how they fixed it I don't know. We're starting to get this little creaking noise that's coming from this. Noise is very alarming coming from this. We had this bracket fitted, this bracket here fitted. There's one on the other side, but we had, which is original, but we had this one manufactured and fitted in out bay, those of you who've been watching the videos will know. And I thought that was a good idea, but since then we've had this funny noise coming from up here. I did discover some of these nuts were loose. We have tightened up everything, including these ones today, and on the other side, but we're still getting this creaking noise as if something's moving, and that's ever so slightly alarming, as this is quite structural really. But anyway, mustn't complain. It's a lovely day on the North Atlantic, and we're sailing along nicely. We've been fiddling about with the heading, trying to keep the solar panels in the sun, because the generator's not working, and the engines take forever to charge up the batteries. Our battery bank's 1120 watt hours, amp hours, whatever it is, and it's quite big. So when it gets down to sort of 50% or so, there's a lot of amps to go in there. It needs a lot of oomph. When we've got the generator running, it's fine because it puts 2000 watts in there at 150 amps, and it still takes a couple of hours to charge it up from a lowage. From this level, it'll probably take 3 hours, but it still does it reasonably quickly. This creaking noise is just alarming me. Anyway. Lots of the Sargasso seaweed now. We passed a couple of great big sort of blankets of it that I didn't see until too late to film really. But we are passing lots of this stuff. Amazing. Holding, which is nice. Very nice indeed. Very comfortable wind speed and pretty good wind direction for us as well. So we'll take this while we can. Meanwhile, the Commodore is preparing dinner with a cocktail. Say hello, Commodore.
Hi. Hello, everybody. It's a tough life out here, I must admit. Life is very tough, you know. We've got to be doing homework. We cleaned this morning. Now it's cooking. I'm making some tartar sauce for our fish tonight, our fresh fish. We're having grouper, nicely fried in a batter. And we're going to have a tossed salad with it.
Nice.
And tartar sauce, homemade tartar sauce. That's why I'm doing my fresh garlic, not using the ginger.
Well, good afternoon. It's gone 4 o'clock. It's definitely afternoon, and it's Thursday the 16th. So it's a week since we left Ascension, and we are at long last beating into wind, which we've been expecting more or less since we crossed the equator some time ago, but it is eventually here. I'm not tight into the wind. I've tried various options, but it seems that sticking at about 50 off works the best, keeps the speed up. The drift is much the same as if we go closer to the wind, because we slow down so much when we go closer to the wind that we end up drifting further downwind towards the African coast, that is, which we don't really want to do. So we had a bit of an excitement, fun this morning, should we say. The port engine wouldn't start, just as the same as it was in Ascension, and Donovan very kindly gave us his spare battery, which worked fine until this morning when we needed to start when there was no wind. However, I charged it up all day, all morning, and somewhere around about lunchtime I started the port engine and it started fine. We then ran it for about 3 hours, but we're making quite good soars today. I was surprised. I didn't think we were going to. We didn't make any this morning at all, but this afternoon it's been good, and we've been unable to chase the sun, but we've not really needed to this afternoon. It's giving us good solar power, and we've got good speed as well as we beat into wind. and we'll just take a quick look at the instruments. Whoa. There we go. We got 13 or 14 knots down here, and we're doing 6 or so, 6.5, which is pretty good. As I say, I've got it 50 off the wind. Good morning, guys. It's Friday the 17th, and it's a pretty rough night, I have to say. And the sort of surprising thing is that it's not bad weather. You know, it's only 15 knots. Which is a bit more, it's closer to 20 apparent, because we're going into the wind now, so we're going into the wind, and we're getting pretty much 20 knots, which is fine. I put a reef in the mainsail yesterday around sunset to cope with this kind of conditions, and it's fine. But every now and again the yacht pitches up as if it will go up a ski jump, and the nose goes down and bang, here we go. That's sort of like that, but much harder. And we went through a period yesterday for about 2 hours, from about midnight till 2 o'clock, where it was just constant banging. It's very sort of trying on the nerves. I don't mind it quite so much, but the Commodore doesn't like it at all. But it's also, you sort of feel not good for the yacht. But there we go, it is what it is. I'm toying with putting another reef in the main to just slow us down slightly to stop this huge pitching up and down when we hit what it's difficult to say in the night because you can't see what's going on, but it must be just slightly bigger waves that throw us up in the sky, the nose up in the sky, and then it comes hammering down into the next wave, such that the bridge deck, that's the bit between the two hulls, slams into the water. And can't be doing the connections in the generator any good at all. On the other problematical side is that we're still struggling with electricity. We haven't really got enough electricity to boil the kettle, which is something of a nuisance. I like to start my day with at least 1 cup of tea, probably 2 or 3 cups of tea and coffee. And as I say, we haven't really got the electricity to do that, which is a bit of a nuisance. We ran the engines yesterday between the two of them for about 6 hours, partially, not entirely, to charge up the batteries. But the generators on the alternators on the engines are relatively small, and it doesn't make much of a dent. It takes a long time to do anything without some decent solar. If we could only get the Jenny going, it would be great, but I can't really go fiddling about in the generator bay, which is up the front there, with so much white water coming over the bow. We'd have to slow right down, so I could go and fiddle with it. And even then, I'm not confident of my ability to do anything useful to it. I meant to say earlier that through the day we've slowly put in more reefs in the sail. Plan, we went from one reef to a second reef in the mainsail pretty early on this morning because it was so uncomfortable last night, so uncomfortable, and it felt as if we're going to break something, if not us, we're going to break the boat, and we don't want to do that either. So put a second reef in the mainsail. That didn't seem to make much difference at all, and then around lunchtime it just didn't seem to be helping, and I thought, oh, I'll put a proper reef in the Genoa instead of just this turn that we've been having to protect the luff right up at the head where it has split. And Sandra and I did a bit of sewing on it before we put it back up the mast, and said, no, and ever since then we've never had it right out. We're keeping it with at least 1 turn to try and protect the stitching. In the end, actually, we put 2 turns. See that red line on the Genoa foot is the second reef, so we've got pretty much 2 reefs in. But it's not making much difference. I mean, as I said earlier, the wind has gone up a little bit. We're looking now at closer to 20 knots, but we're still doing 7. Comfortably doing 7. There you go, 8.7. we're just flying on. It doesn't seem to matter what we do. It's so difficult to slow this thing down. So difficult to slow it down.